What's up, RepMax team? We're gonna start putting these videos at the beginning of every quarter that kind of goes over all the details and all the things we should focus on every program. So this is the fourth program that we're doing of the year. The last big 12-week block that we have. This is the one that's the most specific, the one that's gonna be kind of the heaviest, that's gonna get you most ready to go for that new 1RM for snatch and clean and jerk. I'm gonna be telling you a few notes that we have for the program, as well as what to focus on each individual day. So this program, for all the people doing 4 days, we have the snatch and squat day, day 1, clean and jerk day, day 2, and then now our day 3 is gonna be really light powers. So we're doing hang power snatch, hang power clean stuff. And then on day 4 will be the heavy day. That day 3, day 4, you can kind of change. You know how we have some people going heavy on Friday nights, some people going heavy on Saturday. Just know it's interchangeable, but if you really want to get the most out of the 4-day program, really put in that light day to clean up any technique that you might have had issues on the rest of the week. And then, last program we did everything off blocks, the first 2 days. This program is going to be more on the ground. So for anyone that's struggling with that first pull off the ground, this will be able to focus on it more. Some other notes that we have on this program is we don't want people to get too obsessed with what percentage is on the program. We'd rather you more auto-regulate for the day. So if it says 80% for the day and you get up to 70% and it feels super off, we want you to focus on just making 70% look a lot cleaner. So keep that in mind, don't obsess too much about being on the top end of percentages. This program is all about perfecting technique. So we don't need you to max out on day 1. We'd rather you save your energy for the end of the week and just focus on technique at the beginning. For day 1, we're gonna be focusing mostly on no foot snatches. Definitely talk with the coach and see if that's the right variation for you. We're probably gonna have a few people do a pause snatch instead. But either way, the main focus is to work on foot balance. So when you're doing a no foot, you can't really rock back and forth because that's gonna make the bar come out too far and then you're gonna lose your balance. So no feet kind of humbles you and keeps that degree of error much smaller. So a lot of times when people come up, they tend to rock back, hit the bar out in front, and you either jump forward or jump back to get it. But when you're in a no foot snatch, you have to leave your feet in the same spot. So you can't really get that bar coming out. You have to keep it very close here. The other main idea is that after the extension, you need to get your body into a really balanced position right away. So it's gonna have you here to get quicker into that hip back position. So the people that might be catching too upright, doing a no foot is gonna humble them immediately. And if you're one of the lifters that kind of catches too upright, definitely don't rush to add too much weight to the bar. Let's say 50 kilos on snatch is not looking great, just stay there and keep trying to fix it. After we do the no feet snatch stuff, we're also gonna do a new variation for pulls that we haven't really introduced yet, but it's a no heel lift pull. The same exact purpose for keeping your foot balanced the entire time, but that'll look like this. So you come up, and instead of coming up onto your toes, you just kind of pop like that. So see how the heels stay down the entire time? And the people that's gonna benefit the most are also the people that might rock back and then hit the bar forward. We're trying to minimize how much we're smacking the bar. We wanna think more, when we get to this spot, you wanna think push down into the ground and extend your legs. That's gonna get the bar staying way closer here, and you don't have to chase the bar anywhere. We're also gonna be doing slightly higher volume squats. We are looking to try and get a new max by the end of the year. So this whole year we've been doing a lot more high intensity, lower volume. We wanna start doing a little bit, For day 2, we're gonna be focusing on a no hook clean as your warm up. We're seeing a lot of people that as they come up, they tend to let go of the bar and then flip under. You have a lot of people catching with their elbows low or really slow turnover, or just all the way back on their fingers. By doing a no hook, it's kind of forcing you to hold onto the bar longer up until that last second. So we're gonna be doing that for the warm up. Also on day 2, we're gonna be doing deficit clean deadlifts. The main benefit of that is, it's more range of motion, so it's gonna be tougher on the legs, but it's also gonna practice you keeping your hips in a good position the whole time. So a lot of times when people are getting off the ground, they tend to lift their hips up a little too much. By going deficit, you kind of have to squat more. You have to start more into a squat position. So that initial part of it, you'll feel yourself push your legs into the ground rather than just picking up the hips. So yeah, doing deadlifts off a deficit, keep a good torso angle the entire time. We're also going to be throwing in snatch balances, and it's going to be more on the higher volume side to get just more stimulus for overhead rather than high intensity. We're trying to save most of the intensity for the end of the week. So when you see snatch balances, definitely don't push too much higher than what's in percentages, because we're doing sets of 5 on it. For day 3, the main focus is going to be on hang power snatch and then pause power clean and jerk. So for the hang power snatch, we want to focus on 2 main things. First thing is your start position. We see a lot of people that kind of hinge over a lot here, and they sometimes get people very far back on the heel. You want to actually let those knees come forward a little bit so you feel like you can kind of rebound in this position, and see how my feet are kind of even. I'm not here, I'm also not on my toes. This should be very similar to like if you're going to go into a vertical jump. So like, you know, we get a lot of people that come from CrossFit gyms and stuff like that. A lot of times they're told to just sit the hips back. You actually want to let those knees bend. And then the other thing is, after you do that extension, you want to practice getting the hips back into that same exact power position rather than here catching like upright. So if you tend to do that a lot, one main cue that we say is like, think about squatting a little bit lower, like right where parallel is, because it'll get your hips back into the right spot rather than letting your knees shoot forward in the catch. And then for the pause power clean, we're gonna have everyone pause right above the knee. Similar idea, we're seeing a lot of people pull their knees back too far. We're gonna actually let the knees kind of stay forward so you can keep the quads engaged. So what pause power clean looks like is you come here, and see how my knees aren't really moving out of the way much. That way I can still push into the ground in that last second. And then for the jerks, we're gonna pause right here, and then pause in the catch. And then for day 4, we're gonna be doing waves, which that's probably new to some people here, but what a wave training is like. What you do is you do usually about 8 to 10 sets or so. It'll be, say, 1 set at 65%, then 1 set at 70, 1 set at 75, and then you wave down to like say 68, 73, 78, then wave back down to 70, 75, 80. So essentially you're getting everywhere between 65 to 80, but you're doing different waves on the way up. The best part about that is every rep you do is gonna feel a little different. So that first like 2-3 inches off the ground, you have to kind of feel the weight of the bar rather than just expecting it to be heavier. One general rule with the waves is like if you are on your first wave, you 70, 73, 75, let's say you miss 75, you could do it again. Like say if it's a fluke rep, just do it again. But if you keep missing it, then wave back down and repeat the same exact wave. So you might do like 70, 73, 75 with a miss, just go back 70, 73, 75. If it keeps happening, then just wave in that same range. Like don't expect to have a much higher wave because each wave gets progressively heavier, you know? So if you're having an off day, then just stay within that first wave. We usually say like if you're missing like a weight twice, then just stay in that lighter range. About the program too is, you know, we typically program accessories like all year round. But we have had a lot of people that, you know, maybe their squat's not moving up as much as they would like. A lot of times that's because we need to think of those accessories as the way our body actually gets stronger. And then all the platform stuff is how we apply that strength. So you won't just get a bigger squat by doing squats. You need to get a bigger squat by increasing the weight on your Bulgarian split squats, your RDLs. You know, we have some people that have been doing the same weight on RDLs like almost year round, and maybe you've been doing 40 pounds for the whole time. You need to be seeing significant increases in those accessories that we repeat, you know? I think this year we probably did like 30 or 40 weeks of Bulgarian split squats. So like, if you're still doing the weight you were doing in February, then that's the reason why your squats aren't moving as much as you would like. So, you know, this program I know is weightlifting specific, but we do have a lot of accessories in there that are gonna help get you stronger. So one of the main ones we're testing is bent over rows. So, you know, a lot of times we were talking about when your hips kind of shoot up at the beginning of a clean or the beginning of a snatch. Sometimes that's because your back's not that strong to be able to hold that position. So if you increase your bent over row, it should be a lot easier to maintain position during that first couple inches of the pull. So if you're someone that might normally be doing 100 kilos for your bent over row, think by the end of this program, you should be close to like 120, 125 or so. Like you need to see a good significant increase on those, the RDLs that we have as well. Then some of the ab exercises too. You know, we have a lot of people that are still a little wobbly, especially when they're overhead. We have suitcase carries and dragon flags, which are both like pretty fun core exercises. We want to actually see increases in what you're able to do on it. So like a dragon flag is a really, really challenging ab exercise. You know, you might be able to do 6 reps day one, week 1 or whatever. By week 4, you should be pumping out like maybe 12 reps, and then the next month start adding weight to it. So start treating some of these accessories like the same you would for, you know, on your snatch day, how you want to go heavier. Your accessories need to be one, you know, whole chunk heavier by the end of the year. And then we started implementing a testing week for accessories. At the end of this program, we're going to run that testing week again. What we want to start doing is being able to provide you guys with more guidance on exactly what accessory weight you should be able to do. You know, like if you're doing a dumbbell seated overhead press, like let's say you're only doing like 40 pounds, but other people in your weight class might be able to do like 70 or 80 pounds. So we want to be able to provide that feedback, because, you know, or else we might get a little lost in like what weight we should actually do. Just know, like, if you ever have questions about that, we're always here for you guys to talk to us about it. Because that'll definitely be the main way that you guys can actually get stronger, is by pushing yourself in this side of the gym, you know? That's pretty much it. The main takeaways I would say is, on the technique days, the best thing would be to kind of auto-regulate your day. So like, if you feel really good, it's okay to go up a little bit, especially if you're like coming in and you feel like exhausted or super stressed out. Those days, you should be totally fine with the idea of going slightly under percentages, as long as the main thing you're focusing on is improving your technique for the day. Like on a Monday, the last thing you should feel is like you got worse at the end of your session. You should feel like everything started clicking more, even if that means you have to drop the kilos a little bit. Like, way more beneficial for you to get just perfect reps on day 1 and 2, rather than to like push the weight too much, you know? You can always save the pushing the weight for snatch pulls, squats, accessories and stuff like that. But for snatch and clean and jerk work, especially at the beginning of the week, like it should be like flawless and just working on making it click better. So definitely don't beat yourself up if it says 80% and you're only at 75%. Like, that's close enough for like the idea that we have that you should be around 80%, like 75, even 70% is pretty damn close to that. So I think that's pretty much it. If you ever have questions about like what weights to do on accessories, or like I was saying, if the variation we do on day 1, you know, maybe we don't want you to do no feet, just double check with us and we could always like swap out the variation for you. But good luck.